vision of Ecowas and for the two countries, Benin and Nigeria, to show that it can work and be a win-win for the two countries.
Reopening of land borders. Nigeria and Benin Republic take steps to curb smuggling and other illicit activities across the borders.
Through this project, we're currently injecting about 10 billion naira directly into the hands of about 2 million poor and vulnerable households every month.
Federal government flags off rapid response register for COVID-19 cash transfer for the poor and vulnerable. Plus, Federal Inland Revenue Service generates 4.9 trillion naira tax revenue in 2020, 98% of its estimated target. Hello and welcome to Network News, reaching you live from our network studio in Abuja. I'm Ienre John. Reading with me tonight is Dotun Ogunyemi in Lagos. Thank you for joining us. Nigeria and the Republic of Benin have resolved to take definitive measures towards putting an end to smuggling and other illicit activities across their common borders for enhanced bilateral relations. This formed the highlights of the high-level engagement between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Benin Republic President Patrice Talon. State House correspondent Adam Musamba reports that the meeting was the first since the reopening of Nigeria's land borders by the federal government.
The last time President Patrice Talon met President Muhammadu Buhari was in December 2019 to solicit for Nigeria's understanding towards the reopening of Seme-Boda, in particular, whose closure impacted negatively on his country's economy. Although it took almost 1 year for this prayer to be answered, but as the saying goes, it is better late than never. He is therefore here to not only show appreciation, but also give personal assurances on the bold measures to be taken by his country towards ensuring that cross-border activities that have enormous consequences on Nigeria do not reoccur. And that dominated discussions between the two leaders behind closed doors, as explained by Foreign Affairs Minister Geoffrey Onyema.
The President of Benin is going to do everything within his powers to ensure that this thing doesn't rear its ugly head ever again, that there will never be any issue of whatever, whether it's smuggling, whether it's trafficking, whatever it is, between Benin and Nigeria. They're going to set up a committee to come up with terms of reference, to take some very bold and very decisive steps and sustainable steps to ensure that all the issues that have been affecting the relationship between the two countries should be definitively put behind us.
You must recall that Nigeria just opened its borders, and now we have a new opportunity for Nigerian traders to benefit from the open borders. Now it's an opportunity for Nigerian traders to be able to take their goods across into the West African sub-region. So this portends good business and increased trade relations between Nigeria and other West African countries. And also you must remember that Nigeria signed on to the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which came into force on the 1st of January this year. So it is key that the borders are open so that this agreement that we have signed can be effective.
During the interactive engagement, President Muhammadu Buhari reiterated the importance of good neighborliness, saying the survival of your neighbor is also your own, hence the resolve by Nigeria to continue working with her neighbors towards deepening relations in critical economic sectors. He said a common understanding must continue to be forged on crucial issues, including security, trade, and development for the good of the two countries and their peoples.
Mr. President wants the two countries to be a shining example of what economic integration is all about within the framework of Ecowas, to live to the ideals and the vision of Ecowas, and for the two countries, Benin and Nigeria, to show that it can work and be a win-win for the two countries. Smuggling of drugs and intelligence as to the sources of that and who the beneficiaries are should be addressed comprehensively and definitively.
Any assurances from the Benin leader?
Oh yes, the President of Benin came with some very concrete proposals about resolving these issues definitively so that we'll never ever have to deal with them ever again.
President Patrice Talon, who appreciated the robust leadership being displayed by President Muhammadu Buhari, made a strong case for the relationship between the two neighboring countries to remain cordial. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Vice President Ienre has flagged off the federal government's rapid response register for the COVID-19 cash transfer for urban poor and vulnerable people, which is part of programs to bail out 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila reports that the initiative is to create more opportunities that will give hope and dignity.
Adopting a quick scale-up approach using cutting-edge satellite imaginary technology to identify the target beneficiaries brought about the idea of the Rapid Response Register.
As of 31st December 2020, we have identified and registered about 24.3 million poor and vulnerable individuals in the National Social Register, equivalent to about 5.7 million households. Through this project, we're currently injecting about 10 billion naira directly into the hands of about 2 million poor and vulnerable households every month. The Rapid Response Register is designed to focus mainly on the urban poor wards, selected using scientifically validated methods of satellite remote sensing technology.
Each of the beneficiaries is to receive 5,000 naira monthly for a period of 6 months to strengthen the development agenda of vulnerable communities. The scope of the program is coverage of all the 36 states and the FCT.
Our experience during the COVID-19 pandemic reinforced this position, especially given the requirement of the COVID-19 protocols, as well as our inability to immediately reach the urban poor impacted by the pandemic.
3,115 people from the FCT and Lagos State are to benefit from the grant in the pilot scheme. In Abuja, Abdurrahman Usman Jibrila, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the federal government, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, says it is ready and has the capacity to handle the COVID-19 vaccine as Nigeria looks forward to receiving the first batch of 200,000 COVID-19 vaccine from a foreign pharmaceutical company. This was evident when journalists were given a tour of the National Strategic Cold Store in Abuja. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim was there and brought back this report.
Certainty about the nation's capacity to store COVID-19 vaccines has been put to rest by the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, with the availability of 3 ultra-cold chain equipment located along Airport Road, capable of storing up to 400,000 doses of vaccine at +2 to +8 degrees Celsius, which is more than enough space to store and retain the exigencies of the vaccine. With this storage facility, Nigeria is set to receive 100,000 doses of the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine in the next few weeks.
The clock starts ticking when we have those quantities of vaccines that can actually begin to make a huge dent in terms of coverage of Nigerians.
Another concern was the doubt about the COVID-19 vaccine, which the health agency says NAFDAC is ready to certify the safety of the vaccine before it will be administered on the citizens.
The possibility of taking that decision to vaccinate Nigeria is the responsibility of government. It is a sacred trust that we do not take for granted.
While similar storage facilities are domiciled in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, about 70% Nigerians are expected to have access to equitable vaccination within the first 2 years of its commencement. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And still on the pandemic, against the rising cases of COVID-19, Cano state government has imposed a fresh ban on the activities of viewing and event centers across the state. The State Commissioner for Information, Muhammad Garba, who announced this to NTA News, said the measure was part of decisions at a stakeholders meeting held at the Cano Government House. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
With the increasing rate of COVID-19 cases in the country, the number of active cases in Cano has risen from less than 10 in November 2020 to more than 300 as at the time of this report. 16 deaths were recorded. This informed an emergency stakeholders meeting with Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, during which a decision to suspend the activities of sports viewing and event centers was taken. All civil servants were also directed to stay at home pending further directive.
We realized that the issue of compliance was completely zero, and we have to come and strategize. That's why the meeting felt that we should immediately suspend the activities of all the viewing centers and event centers that we are having in Cano because of the crowd, because of the congestion of people.
The commissioner also disclosed that very soon the state governor will hold meetings with representatives of transport unions, market associations, and school principals on ways to ensure strict compliance with laid-down safety protocols. He assured that necessary measures will be taken by the state government to flatten the pandemic curve. In Cano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And away from Cano now, election of members of the Ecowas Parliament by direct universal suffrage is part of the new mandate conferred on the Parliament by the adoption of the Supplementary Act enhancing its powers. Recommendations of Parliament's ad hoc committee on the matter has been adopted by members at plenary. Onengie Fanfish reports on this and other issues in the virtual ordinary session of the Ecowas Parliament.
Highlights of recommendations on the election of members of Parliament by direct universal suffrage include its implementation before the end of the 5th legislature, thematic meetings on specific areas such as financing, electoral code, code of good conduct, and qualifications for election into the Ecowas Parliament are to be organized as soon as possible. The recommendations add that key Ecowas institution stakeholders like Authority of Heads of State, Council of Ministers, Ecowas Commission and Ecowas Court of Justice should be consulted on this mission, while a prominent citizen is appointed as champion to lead advocacy on the process.
Draft directive adopting the regional cybersecurity and cybercrime strategy. 6. Draft directive adopting the Ecowas regional policy on critical infrastructure protection. Article 2 mandates the Speaker to forward this resolution to the President of the Commission.
Our regional strategy on cybersecurity and the 2021 program of activities for the Parliament were also considered and adopted at plenary.
I have no doubt that we have the capacity to continue our work. We must remain steadfast and always put the interests of the people above self-interest.
The ordinary session ended with amendments in the membership and leadership of some standing committees. Onengie Fanfish, NTA News.
In other news, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has observed that the signing into law of the Modibo Adama University Yola by President Muhammadu Buhari is a true reflection of the commitment of this administration in people-oriented achievements. He was speaking when he granted audience to a delegation from the university led by its Vice-Chancellor, Professor Abdullahi Tukur, in company of some National Assembly members from Adamawa State on a thank-you visit. Senator Lawan noted that the expansion of universities' academic capacity is a product of harmonious relationship between the legislature and the executive.
And I will take this opportunity to commend Mr. President, President Muhammadu Buhari, for assenting to that bill, to that amendment. And this is what we call cooperative governance. We work with the executive to ensure that Nigerian people benefit from democracy. The 9th National Assembly has achieved so much between 2019 to date for the benefit of this country. Despite the pandemic, I'm particularly happy with recent developments by our armed forces. They are doing better than they were doing before.
This is a service you have done to humanity. We are most grateful. History will remember you very kindly on this singular act of making education broad-based in our own area.
The law now empowers Modibo Adama University to run all approved academic programs like other conventional universities in the country. Up ahead, FIRS recorded 98% tax revenue target in 2020. Details when we return. Do stay.
Come, my flavor chocolate. I got my for you now.
I'm coming.
Come, let me spoil you. Look, this is not boil or abscess. Now money. I wanna show for Kenny's Lounge right now. Babes, yakpa for you.
Find your first. Get a Glow special data plan. Dial *777# Glow.
Biu Emirate Council Borno State cordially invite the general public to the formal presentation of staff of office to Mai Mustafa Umar Mustafa II, Emir of Biu, by the special guest of honor, His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, MNI, Executive Governor of Borno State, special guest Al-Haji Abubakar Ibn Umar Garbai El-Kanami, CFR, Shah of Borno, and Chairman Borno State Council of Chiefs. Date, Saturday 23rd January 2021. Venue, Biu Township Stadium. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Come one, come all. Long live Biu Emirate. Long live Borno State, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Announcer Muhammad Ibrahim, Dammasan Biu, Chairman, Media and Publicity Committee.
Dear customer, link your Airtel number to your national identification number today. Here are easy ways you can do it. Dial *121*1# on your Airtel line and follow the prompts on the screen. Type in your 11-digit government-approved NIN number. You will receive a confirmation message to confirm your entry. You can also visit www.airtel.com.ng/NIN to link your phone number to your NIN. If you do not know your NIN, simply dial *346# to get it. No stress, no wahala.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The management of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, hereby invites stakeholders to the first annual National Tax Dialogue with the theme Taxation in a Post-COVID Economy. The event, taking place at the Banquet Hall State House Presidential Villa, Abuja, will be declared open by the special guest of honor and President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari. Date, 21st January 2021 at 9 a.m. prompt. Chairman of the occasion is Dr. Olukayode Fayemi, Executive Governor, Ekiti State. Keynote speaker, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President, African Development Bank.
Chairman of panels, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, Executive Governor of Lagos State. Alhaji Isa Ali Pantami, Minister of Communications and Digital Economy.
Guest speakers Logan Watt, Executive Secretary, African Tax Administration Forum. Hajia Amina J. Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General, United Nations. Chief host is Hajia Zainab Shamsuna Ahmed, Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Host, Prince Clement Abba, Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning. Announcer, Mohammed Nami, Executive Chairman, FIRS.
you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire.
Teacher yo a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher jọ̀wọ́ a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I mean, that's why I talk with that now.
Not for me.
You want me to die?
Not for me because of Pamio.
Thank you for staying. The presidency has reacted to happenings in Ondo State, saying it has been keenly monitoring events occurring in the state and the orders by the government of the state asking headers to vacate the forest in 7 days. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says what is clearly emerging is a lack of consistency in messaging, which in turn leads to various contradictions regarding accuracy and the intent behind the message. Adding that there is little to be said other than to call for restraint on both sides and urge the state government and the leadership of the Fulani communities to continue their dialogue for a good understanding that will bring to an urgent end the security challenges facing the state. The statement also stated that the president, who swore to defend the Constitution, is prepared to do all that the law permits to protect citizens all over the country in their choice of where they wish to reside and are treated as equal citizens. Therefore, the government of Ondo and all the 35 others across the Federation must draw clear lines between the criminals and the law-abiding citizens who must equally be saved from the infiltrators. Now, looking at business. Out of the 5.7 trillion naira tax revenue set for the Federal Inland Revenue Service in the year 2020 by the federal government, 4.9 trillion naira was generated, representing 98% of the national tax target. The Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Muhammad Nami, disclosed this at a press conference in Abuja. Benny Adams reports.
Chris Eze has been working as a mobile phone software installer for many years and makes good money from his clients, but has never paid a dime as tax. Not because he does not want to, but because he has no idea how to go about it or where to start from. On the other hand, Abubakar Akwanga has been on government payroll for more than 10 years. Before he receives his monthly pay, about 15,000 naira is deducted as tax. Like Chris Eze, there are many Nigerians in the informal sector of the economy who don't pay tax. But that is about to change as the FIRS is employing technology for tax receipts.
Payment of tax is a civic duty for every Nigerian to discharge, and I keep saying that the money you pay as tax goes in cycles and comes back to you in different forms.
Mohamed Nemi said the effects of COVID-19 disruptions on businesses and a drop in oil prices, in addition to the aftermath of NSAS protests, which forced the service to grant tax waivers to small companies. The service still recorded a non-oil tax collection of 109% in 2020, which is 9% higher than the previous year. The success he attributed to a number of reforms, which include capacity building for staff, improved staff welfare, and deployment of appropriate technology for tax operation. Nemi expressed optimism that the new year will be better, with expected exploration activities in the oil and gas sector. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
And I happen to have Benny Adams with me here in the studio to give us more news from the business world. Benny, just before you fire, what's your take on the FIRS scorecard?
That scorecard, I'll tell you, is an extraordinary performance that is not expected at a time like this, talking about the disruptions by COVID-19 to businesses across the globe. It's actually a wonderful performance.
All right.
Welcome to Business News. We start on a cheering note that the Africa Medical Supplies Platform, on behalf of the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, today commences the COVID-19 vaccines pre-order program for all African Union member states. Afri-Exim Bank will facilitate payments by providing advance procurement commitment guarantees of up to $2 billion to the manufacturers on behalf of the member states. The 270 million COVID-19 vaccines are from Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and AstraZeneca. The African Union chairperson, President Cyril Ramaphosa, says the initiative is to ensure fair allocation coupled with timely and equitable access of COVID-19 vaccines across the continent. And moving to the stock market, we have a little bad news. Investors closed today with 16.0 billion naira as equities market closed today on a negative note. The NSE ASA depreciated by minus 0.07% to close at 41,051.63 basis points, as against minus 0.23% depreciation recorded previously. Its year-to-date returns currently stands at 1.94%. Market breadth closed positive as Afromedia led 43 gainers as against 21 losers, topped by Japol Oil at the end of today's session. An improved performance when compared with previous outlook. Market turnover closes negative as volume moved down by 0.28.91% as against 10.79% uptick recorded in the previous session. Transcorp, Japol Oil, and Zenith Bank were the most active to boost market turnover. Boa Cement and Zenith Bank topped market value list. Well, let's take a trip to the global scene and see how transactions went at the end of today. Well, that's a wrap on the business end of the news. Ienre, it's over to you.
Thank you, Benny. Now, Kaduna Electric, in collaboration with the Special Investigation and Prosecution Task Force for Electricity Offenders, apprehended a syndicate that specializes in cloning electricity meters and perpetrating electricity tariff theft in Kaduna. Haruna Mohammed reports.
Various initiatives under the Electric Power Sector Reform Act of 2005 upon privatization of the industry encourage distribution companies on effective implementation of metering for accountability and service delivery. On the basis, Kaduna Electric Distribution Company has been doing that in addition to the free mass metering scheme by the federal government to address estimated billing of customers. Leveraging on this development, the suspects who specialize in metering business allegedly went into cloning electricity meters to perpetrate energy theft. Luck ran out of them and were apprehended following a tip-off.
I realized the same unit bought for a meter is used to recharge several meters. I saw it is not supposed to be like that, so I raised alarm.
One of the suspects allegedly imported a device to perpetrate the act.
Any IC that has no information on it or it got damaged, you source for an original IC that is on the system, you clone into it, and that is all.
Chief of Marketing and Revenue Assurance Officer, Kaduna Electric Distribution Company, Abubakar Jimeta, says records have shown that more than 1,000 metered customers are not paying, resulting in huge loss to the company.
It's sabotage to Kaduna Electric, it's sabotage to the federal government. It's also impacting on our customers, our esteemed customers, most especially those that are not metered, are on estimation, meaning that where these clonings are happening on the feeder or on the DT, all these customers that have engaged in this, the customers on those DTs or the feeders are the ones paying for the electricity these people are consuming, which in other words also impacts in their pockets.
Last year alone we arrested over 184 stolen meters from some suspects, which were stolen from various customers.
The suspects will be charged to court at the conclusion of investigation. In Kaduna, Haruna Muhammad, NTA News.
The federal government has flagged off an empowerment program targeting 23,000 unemployed youths in Rivers State. Emmanuel Lene reports that this is one of the federal government's interventionist programs in the state aimed at making them self-reliant.
Extended Special Public Works Program is one of the several federal government intervention programs aimed at shielding the most vulnerable from the ravaging effects of COVID-19 pandemic. The program is designed as a veritable tool through which the lives of 774,000 unemployed Nigerian youths will be positively impacted in the next 3 months, out of which 23,000 is allotted to Rivers State.
Communities will receive a facelift through the activities of these participants. People that are affected in this program are those who are the most vulnerable in our society.
Very wonderful work on development to this administration and to the country generally.
Working tools as well as protective wares were provided for their daily work schedule. The program is expected to last for a period of 3 months, while the 774,000 youths engaged will be earning a stipend of 20,000 naira each month. In Port Harcourt, Emmanuel Elene, NTA News.
And away from Port Harcourt now, Emir of Duse in Jigawa State, Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, has applauded the Nigeria Television Authority, NTA, for being a medium that promotes the country's peaceful coexistence through its news programs and content. The Emir stated this during the inauguration of some projects in NTA Duse by the Executive Director, News of NTA, Muhammad Labo, on behalf of the Director General, Mansour Aliyu Hassan reports.
Established 23 years ago, NTA Dutse has been projecting the cultural, socio-economic and religious values of the people of Jigawa State. The 2 projects inaugurated are a virtual studio set and that of flood control with the interlocking landscaping of operational and administrative sections of the station. While inaugurating the projects with the support of the Emir of Dutse, Nuhu Muhammad Sanusi, the Executive Director News Muhammad Labbu said the idea of migrating to digital transmission was born out of the NTS readiness to join in the global best practices.
Anybody who's been watching NTA in the last 3-4 years, will know that the screen has improved, the graphics has improved, everything has improved.
He commended the NTA Dutse management and staff for this feat, while calling on them to continue serving the people of Jigawa State. While conducting the dignitaries round, the general manager of the station, Abdullahi Garba Birnin Kudu, informed them that the idea of the renovation was to allow staff of the station have seamless access to their offices during the rainy season.
We divided it into 3 phases. This is the first phase, and by the grace of God, if we are here, we'll continue to do the second and the third phase.
I'm aware of what efforts they have made, and their personal efforts made this station what it is now.
The guest also inspected the new NTA Dutse garden, which was named after the pioneer general manager of the station, Idris Bako Muhammad. In Dutse, Mansur Aliyu Hassan, NTA News.
Now time to pause here in Abuja and let Dotun feed us with more stories from Lagos. Dotun, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ienre. As contractors handling the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway begin construction of additional works to the project, such as flyovers and interchanges at strategic junctions, the progress of work on the main carriageway is to be totally completed by December this year. This was disclosed by the Director of Highway Reconstruction and Rehabilitation, Funsho Adebi, during an inspection of some ongoing projects in the southwest. As work along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway continues, significant progress is being achieved, and details of this are not just graphically represented on charts, they are visible, with motorists recording shorter travel time along both sections of the 127.6-kilometer road. The challenge that, however, needs to be addressed remains indiscriminate parking of trucks on the road.
We see trailers in their hundreds. The trailers are in their hundreds there. And they are parked on the shoulder we are just preparing. We are begging our people, stop parking on our roads. You are destroying the roads and regulate your weight. The weight you are carrying is too much for this pavement. Who designed those trucks also designed that you carry 30 tons at a time. What do they carry? Some of them carry as much as 90 tons.
As the federal government targets improved port operations, the Apapa-Oshodi-Oboroshoki Expressway has achieved an average of 61% completion on all sections of the project.
On some of our major roads, Apapa-Oshodi-Oboroshoki, Lagos-Ibadan, Lagos-Otabe-Okuta, even Third Mainland Bridge, Outer Marina, all of the Ikorodu-Shagam, we are going to make, it's already on our plan, we are going to make appreciable progress.
The team also inspected the Ibadan-Ilorin road and assured of speedy completion as several challenges such as mining and construction on right-of-way, among other issues, are being addressed. And in education, as academic activities resume across schools in Lagos, the State Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, has warned that any school found violating COVID-19 protocols will be sanctioned. She gave the warning during an unscheduled visit to some schools in the state. Musa Toliat reports.
The visit by the Commissioner for Education, Folashade Adefisayo, was aimed at reassuring parents of the state government's commitment to keeping the students safe, given concerns expressed in some quarters that government should have extended schools resumption beyond January 18th date. It was also a moment for the Education Commissioner to appraise the availability of COVID-19 safety materials and suitability of the environment for effective learning as students come to terms with the new normal in an academic environment. Public and private schools in Agege, Ikeja, and Alimosho played host to the Commissioner for Education and her team.
We have more than 50 teams on the road. You don't meet the protocols, we will sanction you appropriately. The most important thing for us is that they meet the protocols for safety of life.
The Commissioner also took time to further sensitize students on COVID-19 protocols and preventive measures.
Please stay safe, leave your mask on all the time, okay? It's for your own safety. If somebody has COVID and cough, it cannot enter into your nostril, isn't it?
I've learned that we should wash our hands daily, wear our nose masks to prevent the coronavirus.
We should obey the rules of the COVID-19. We should always wear nose masks and always wash our hands.
The school monitoring officers from the Office of Education Quality Assurance were also deployed by the Lagos State government to other parts of the metropolis to ensure compliance and step up sensitization on COVID-19 in schools.
Wash your hands with soap and water.
In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
And that's it from here. Let's now take another break. Network News continues shortly.
Ross, good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. I beg, please, I need 5K. Now, emergency matter, I'll return it back next week.
5K?
Next week, oh, I beg. Next week, I'll give it back.
I know what
your story. Hello?
Bro,
what's in the apple?
I beg, I need 5K next week. Now only you free help me.
Oh, yeah, come, now come, I dey shop.
Bros, how far now? How market? I know say next month you supposed to pay me those materials where I supply you last week. But the thing is, I need that 5K out of that money.
5K again?
I beg, I need.
Why everybody gonna ask me for 5K this early morning now? What's in the apple?
I beg.
Okay. First person 5K, second person 5K. 5K.
Uche. Bros, yeah. See, how far that 5K now?
I'm not gonna give you that money until you tell me what you want to do.
Now Zenith Bank, Zenith Bank, they give 30,000 naira worth of gift to 50 of them customers every week.
You don't mean it?
Not true. All you guys do now to open bank account, leave 5K for inside, go collect ATM card, or register for their mobile banking app, or star 966 hash. Easy banking, that's all.
50 people will win gifts worth 30,000 naira each every Friday from now to July 30, 2021. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. Fund your account with a minimum of 5,000 naira. Request and collect a Zenith Bank debit card, virtual or physical. Download and register on the Zenith Bank mobile app or register for star 966 hash easy banking. That's all it takes.
Look my shop. I don't think I last.
25K now.
Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Customer, here are the tomatoes. What else shall I give you?
Hot pepper and Auntie, this your cough is getting out of hand now.
Take it easy with her now. But customer, this your cough. You should go to the hospital.
You know I can't go there with this cough at this time. They'll just say I have COVID-19.
Customer, every cough is different. It could be tuberculosis.
It's true, Auntie. Check am o, make you dey sure.
Because who no go?
No go, no.
Check that cough for tuberculosis.
Check am o, make you dey sure.
If your cough is more than 2 weeks, it could be tuberculosis. TB tests and TB treatment are free. Just call the National TB Hotline on 3340 for information on where to get the test. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Health with support from the American people.
The Forestry Research Institute of Nigeria, FRIN, located in Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, southwest Nigeria, has been repositioned for better service delivery to its teeming clients across the globe. The institute remains undoubtedly as a foremost research center of excellence with respect to knowledge-based forestry activities, as measured by the acquired scientific breakthrough. FRIN has demonstrated that youths, women and retirees can make millions of naira practicing low-capital agriculture. These include cane, rat, rabbit, and snail farming with returns on investments regularly. Added to its feathers is a certification by NAFDAC to the FRIN C-Tone Herbal Mixture and Remedy for the management of COVID-19 related ailments as immune booster. The institute is recognized by several international agencies. Recently, it got approval for 3 biosphere reserves in Nigeria by the UNESCO, MAB, and ICC. FRIN has come to stay. The future is very bright in making the forest profitable.
Glad to have you back. Sokoto State Government has set up a committee to ascertain the cause of the fire at the Sokoto Central Market. Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal made the announcement during a visit to the market. Dalhatu Abdullahi has the report.
As at the time of the governor's visit, the Central Market Sokoto was still burning. Firefighters and security personnel were on ground to save wires from hoodlums, while heavy-duty trucks were breaking the market fence to create more access into the market to enhance rescue operations.
It is a very sad development. We appeal to the general public, and particularly those who are owners of shops and having investments in this market, to remain calm as we are doing everything humanly possible to bring it under control.
Meanwhile, state government has immediately set up a committee under the leadership of the State Deputy Governor Mandere Muhammad Daiya to assess the damage caused by the inferno and the victims for possible response. The Central Market suffered fire outbreaks, including the worst one on the 16th of April 2006 and another in 2010. Meanwhile, the Kebbi State Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu has sympathized with the government and the people of Sokoto State over the fire incident, saying the losses incurred affect the business communities in the entire Northwest. He pledged a donation of 30 million naira to the victims. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Similarly, efforts have been intensified to open the Presidential Boulevard Road, Abeokuta, where 3 people lost their lives following a petroleum tanker explosion Tuesday morning. Lekon Agwande has an update.
The explosion occurred at about 8:15 Tuesday morning along Presidential Boulevard, Kuto, Abeokuta, when a 33,000 petrol-laden tanker allegedly lost its brake. Many vehicles and motorcycles on the road were trapped and subsequently got burnt. This lady, who had difficulty in controlling her emotion as one of the survivors, narrates her experience.
The trailer had a failed brake and it fell on us. That was all.
I just noticed a sound. When I noticed that sound, I could look back. All I could see is just an explosion.
We have 3 people who are burnt to death.
Men and officers of federal and state fire services and other law enforcement agencies were on ground to manage that situation.
We battled the fire and we went back to the field again so that we can contain the fire.
Those injured have been taken to the hospital.
6 individuals that have various degrees of burns, and they've been resuscitated. The initial phase is to triage them and resuscitate them, replace their fluids, and then we're getting a plastic surgeon in.
As at the time of filing this report, efforts are on to clear the wreckage for free flow of traffic. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, despite challenges posed by coronavirus pandemic last year, severe impacts of fire disasters were averted by the Federal Fire Service, where many lives were saved, including property of Nigerians running into trillions of naira across the country. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that the breakthrough was highlighted during the 2021 Fire Service Review.
2020 may have come and gone, but not without some challenges, especially in the area of fire outbreak, as the country lost 32.12 billion naira to fire disaster, saved 1.351 trillion naira, while 3,555 lives were saved in different rescue operations. As an additional reinforcement for proactive operations within the year under review, more commands across the 6 geopolitical zones were established, while equipment were procured to stem the tide of fire disaster.
What we are proposing here now is what will cover 2021, 2022. We are hoping that by 2022 December or latest middle of 2023, this work will have been concluded.
Now the 2021 prospect seems to be brighter as 89 firefighting trucks and other rapid intervention vehicles, personnel training on foreign high-rise building and ICT-based operation are captured in the current budget. The Federal Fire Service restated commitment to collaborate with State Fire Service commands for effective service delivery and risk reduction during emergency operations. In Abuja, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, NTA News.
In other news, the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has expressed readiness to support Comrade Mohammed Jimoh's aspiration of becoming the new national president of Ratau. The Director General of the NTA, Malam Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, stated this when Jimoh and his campaign team visited the management of NTA. Alika Okwanachi Arawa reports.
This is a meeting of two groups with similar objectives of promoting good leadership to facilitate synergy between staff and management of broadcasting organizations. On this day, however, one is soliciting the other's support to lead the Radio, Television and Theatre Workers Union, Ratau. The aspirant, Mohammed Jimoh, pledges to make workers' welfare top priority if elected.
One very particular thing about state councils and chapters that don't get their dues at regular intervals. So these are things we want to focus on and make every member have confidence in our leadership.
The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, cautioned against bitterness and rancor during and after the election and pledges management support to the union.
I'm guaranteeing you on behalf of my colleagues in management and the entire workforce of the NTA, that NTA is going to be 100% behind Jimoh because his success is the success of NTA.
The Radio, Television, Theatre and Art Workers Union of Nigeria, Ratau, is a trade union representing workers in the arts and media industries in Nigeria. In Abuja, Alika Okwanachi Arawa, NTA News.
Another break beckons. We'll be right back.
Repositioning of Federal Inland Revenue Services for increased revenue generation and the catalyst of Finance Act 2020. What it's all about in the financial system of Nigeria. That is our focus on Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Incisive and educating. Join us.
This is the Wilson family last week. This is the Wilson family this week. What's changed? What? The Wilson family got maximum entertainment for less, and now they're closer than ever. Your family can be too.
How does this work?
With world-class international channels that put the quality back in your quality time.
That's what I'm talking about.
GoTV Max will bring you and your family closer in no time. So upgrade to GoTV Max for only 2,999 naira today. Make you enjoy. GoTV. Love it.
Let's talk sports now. Nigerians react to the Golden Eaglets' 2-3 loss to Cote d'Ivoire at the final of the Wafu B Under-17 football tournament in Togo. Adenike Kenam is our guide on Sports Update.